Hello again, everyone. When I reviewed all 9 episodes of She-Hulk, of the worst moments of my life, the headache still remains, people. But when I reviewed all 9 episodes of that god-awful show, I made it very clear in each one of my reviews I said, this show is intended for nobody. Its main intention is to piss off the fans and to give everybody, give every Marvel fan who has ever come a giant middle finger. Now, the final episode of that series was terrible, absolutely terrible. I gave it a 0 out of 5. I could find nothing about it that I could possibly say would be good at all about this thing. Now, in this article here, She-Hulk star says series exits as a FU to critics. Head writer boasts, part of me really loves trolling the trolls. What I'm going to go over here in this for you is going to really show you how truly sick and twisted these people are and how much their own narcissism and ego plays into everything that they did with this show. They were given millions of dollars to produce a series, and they used it as a chance to troll people and say F you to the fans. That's how much they cared. But even more disturbing, what I want you all to really and truly understand about this She-Hulk series and what is really done, everything that happened in She-Hulk is now canon for the MCU. Everything is now canon for the MCU. That means everything that she did, everything that happened to her in this series is now part permanently of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All the fourth wall breaking, her jumping out of her own series, walking across the thing. Basically, the fact that she knows she is inside of a show, inside of a Marvel show, means that now everything that happens in Marvel is to be known that it's inside of our show. It's not part of anything. It's about that. Everything that happened in that last episode, and if you want to know what happened in the last episode, you haven't watched it yet, you can check out my review on it. Everything that happened in that last episode is now canon for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even people who didn't truly love the show but still decided they would give it a chance, the final episode pissed them off and turned them away because they could see quite clearly what I had been saying all leading up to that 8th episode, all leading up to it. That entire show was just meant to be one giant middle finger to the fans. That's it. Nothing else was meant for anything in that show other than that reason. Let's get into the article here so you all can get an understanding of it. To the surprise of absolutely no one, really no one, who watched even a minute of the Disney Plus series, and I watched all, so I probably need more help than anybody else. She-Hulk attorney at law's lead actress Tatiana Maslany, head writer Jessica Gao, and director Kat Coiro have confirmed that the development of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's latest entry was predicated entirely on making fun of their own strawman interpretations of dissatisfied male Marvel fans. So they have come out and admitted that they wasted all that money that they were given. Literally wasted it for no other reason than to make fun of the male Marvel fans who make up, and I may add, make up most likely over 90% of your fan base. And before they start to say that, it's just male villain, there are women who I can tell you, women who watched this series and hated it. Even some who were willing to give it a chance at the beginning, disliked it at the end. Because this is what happens when you keep giving these women in their mid to late 30s who have no man, no husband, no nothing, and are a bunch of dissatisfied, angry, man-bashing, feminist radical sickos opportunities to make shows like this. This is what you get. Let's move on. I want you to hear exactly what they had to say. The trio provided this insight into their live-action take on the Jade Giantess during a post-season finale interview given to Variety. Okay, this is what Tatiana Maslany had to say when she was asked how it felt to see said finale tackle some of the exact same trolling comments that Marvel fans have been making. To which she praised Jessica Gao is a genius. Okay, so Tatiana Maslany is a moron. Tatiana Maslany is a moron. Because if you're going to start off saying Jessica Gao is a genius, clearly there's something wrong with you. And knows about the culture we're living in. I think you mean she knows about the Twitter bubble that she lives in, not the culture we live in. And her position in it when she's writing these stories about a woman superhero. How is that thing? Because the writers came out and admitted they didn't know how to write a legal drama. They didn't know how to write a superhero story. So what they wrote was just themselves in it being a bunch of angry, hating women. Well, okay, fine, let's move on. She knows what that response is going to be. As a cast, it was delightful sending each other these troll responses. Like, oh my God, give them a week, and then they're going to literally see this pop up verbatim in the show and become the villains of the show. It was thrilling. What kind of sick behavior is that? You're telling me that you all sat there, right? You all sat there every week, right? Literally sending each other messages back and forth from your fans who are dissatisfied with what it is you're putting out, and you're literally saying that, oh, it's going to be so fun to see them that's, oh my God, just give them a week, and they're going to literally see this pop up verbatim in the show and become the villains of the show. So you're turning your fans into the villains of the show, and it's fun for you. Wonder why this thing failed so miserably. Met with a follow-up question of whether or not she was expecting to face the trolls when you signed on for the show. I mean, okay, I'm going to continue this because I want to take a minute to see. When your fans are dissatisfied with what it is you're doing, that does not make them trolls. They are people, and they have a right to say if they don't like something, you have a right to listen. She asserted, reading the script, it was so true. There's so much resistance to a woman just existing in the space of superheroes. That is horse shit. Forgive my language, it's horse shit. There are many female superheroes that people absolutely enjoy and adore. Just off the top of my head, I can name 10 female superheroes that people really love. Storm, Rogue, Black Widow, She-Hulk, Catwoman, Batgirl, Supergirl, Spoiler, Lois Lane, Jubilee. And yes, some people may say, well, not Lois Lane, but I mean, even though Lois Lane doesn't have a cape, on the other, she's a brave, fearless reporter, and she always pushes to get the story on that, and I could respect that, and I could see her as a superhero because she has done things to save people's lives. So I respect that. But I'm just saying, on top of my head, I can name those. But no, as far as they would have you believe, everybody hates female superheroes. There's always going to be that, she added. I sort of anticipated it. It's why I also feel it's important. There's such an entitlement to space held by certain people. Now listen to this part, eh? And to even exist as She-Hulk, it's like a FU, and I love that. Right? That's what she said. Let me read back that thing again. Eh? I sort of anticipated it. It's why I also feel it's important. There's such an entitlement to space held by certain people, and to even exist as She-Hulk is like a FU, And I love that. This is what Tatiana Maslany, the star of this She-Hulk abomination show, had to say. Literally say, it's like an FU to the fans, and I love that. Turning to Gao, Variety asked the series head writer if Marvel had given her any suggestions for the hate comments they get online, to which she confirmed that conversation between Jen and Kevin is very much the relationship that I have with real life Kevin, and a lot of that is taken from conversations I've had with him. I'll go into something about Kevin and Jen a little bit. That scene in the finale was so much longer in the scripts. She then teased of a particularly painful alternate timeline. If they had let me, I probably would have written a 10-minute conversation of my avatar arguing with Kevin. So yes, you see right there, she has admitted it. She-Hulk is just her. She just wrote herself as She-Hulk in this series. And that's all she did. That's all she did. She said that, yeah, if they had let me, I probably would have written a 10-minute conversation of my avatar arguing with Kevin. That's what it is. She just self-inserted herself as She-Hulk, and that's all she had to do. That's it. I don't know where they get this idea in their mind that people want to see you, that they want to see you as a superhero. Nobody wants to see you as a superhero. People want to see superheroes as superheroes. When you're writing a superhero, you're writing a story about something. You don't write about yourself unless it's a self, world, real world sort of stuff. If you're writing a fictional character, you may take different cues and things over here and there to make this character interesting. But it's not you. It's the character you're writing and people want to see that. But no, you write yourself and figure that's good enough. This is probably the tightest version of what it could have been. There were a couple of jabs where Kevin was like, okay, this is a little mean now. Further question as to how it felt to accurately predict what the trolls would be saying. She declared, our writer's room opened 3 years ago. Listen to this part there. The fact that we were able to predict what the reaction was going to be was a lot of the trolling comments were going to be. Really shows how very tried and unoriginal these trolls are. That really tickled me because the little troll that lives inside of me really loves trolling the trolls. So this started 3 years ago. And you literally sat there and said, listen to me. We're going to make this show. It's going to be terrible. People are going to complain about it. You know exactly what people are going to complain about it. This has nothing to do with trolls, because right now she is exposing herself. This has nothing to do with trolls. But you know exactly what these people are going to have a problem with, and you deliberately created this show to attack and affect these people, and then you turn around and call it trolls. Because as far as you're concerned, you must be able to put out anything. Doesn't matter how terrible it is. And people are supposed to love it. And when they don't, you go out and you call them trolls, you call them this, you call them that. What you don't call them is fans who are unhappy with what you're doing, and you can say, well, okay, this is going to be bad, let's do something good. No. She insisted that they make something to piss off people. She's exposing herself here. You were given all that money. You had 3 years and you deliberately created something to piss off people, and Marvel Studios signed off on it. Because as far as Marvel Studios is concerned, we are all just a bunch of brain-dead sheep who must just be allowed to consume anything that they put out and be happy with it. And she even goes on to say, that really tickled me because the little troll that lives inside of me, you admitting you have a troll, right? And you're calling the fans trolls in order to justify your own troll that lives inside of you. This is the kind of sickness that these people have. Again, as I say, it's nothing about ego and supporting their own biased views. You wrote a series by a bunch of angry women in their mid to late 30s with no man, and you bashed men at every opportunity you got. And this is the result. And here they are, exposing themselves and their own nonsense. Finally, moving to Koiro, Variety posed a similar line of inquiry to the series director, beginning with the question of, what was Kevin Feige's reaction to the finale? Kevin had a huge hand in that finale and in the character of Kevin, said Koiro of the series. Like, okay, Project Body dropping, confirming, I was merely pretending finale. Ironically, I was more squeamish about it than they were. I was like, are we going too far? Are we throwing Marvel and fans under the bus by putting down Marvel films? Yes, that is exactly what you did. That is exactly what you did. Marvel has such a self-depreciating, irreverent sense about themselves and were totally willing to poke fun at themselves. She excused of the She-Hulk's conclusion, any criticism you can lob at them, they have thought of it. So they knew, once again, exposing the fact that they know people were going to hate it. Explain this to me. How could you possibly make something you know people are going to hate and you put it out there and act like it's good, act like it's okay? I mean, Kevin Feige, after at this point, he'll just not care anymore. I'll get to Kevin Feige in a moment, but still. The director was then asked if she had to dig deep for all of the Marvel criticism of just scroll through Twitter, to which she recalled, one thing I noticed is that at the beginning of the series, I was getting a lot of nasty, mean comments. As it's gone forward, that has stopped. I think it's because now they realize when they target us, they're playing directly into our hands, and we call it, which is pretty gratifying. It's so satisfying. That's sick, but to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you something. I think the main reason people have done it because people just checked out. They just didn't care anymore. That's it. They just didn't care. They realized exactly what it is you were doing and they just walked away. They just didn't care. Even negative commentary, I always interpret as encouragement, giving way to the growing sentiment among even hate-watching Hollywood current output. If people are that angry, they are paying attention. I look at all of it as positive. I tell you, this really showing how these people operate. The full run of She-Hulk at Law's pointless, spite-driven first season is now streaming on Disney Plus. Father, I tell you, that's the way to put it. Pointless, spite-driven. Now let me just touch on one more thing here. I want to just one more thing here in regards to what happened with Jessica Gao and Kevin Feige, because it's a really sick one. She-Hulk head writer Jessica Gao admits she almost quit series over disagreement with Kevin Feige about single joke in season finale. Listen to this nonsense. This is nonsense. Let me see if I can find it. Recalling a spat with Feige to comicbook.com during a recent appearance on the site's Phase Zero podcast, Gao explained that the joke at the center of their dispute revolved around the appearance of Marvel Studios' Kevin Machine. Given the fact that the robot behind the curtain was intended to be a parody of the eponymous producer, Gao wanted Kevin to be depicted as wearing a personally sized baseball cap, a play on Feige's signature apparel choice. However, despite having obstinately okayed everything in the series thus far, listen to this part, Feige put his foot down on this particular visual gag as he found that it made little to no sense at all. So, you okayed everything else that completely and utterly destroyed this series. But the fact that the robot would have a baseball cap, that's where you put your foot down. It would appear, people, if you probably didn't know, that Kevin Feige is apparently an idiot. This is telling. You understand me? This is telling. These She-Hulk the She-Hulk She-Hulk main star Tatiana Maslany, Jessica Gao, and Kat Coiro have clearly shown what I have said from the beginning, that this series was nothing more than an FU to the fans, and that they really enjoyed trolling the critics or whatever, and just giving everybody a giant middle finger. This series was a total abomination, and they exposed exactly what they are in this. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.